Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope you're all keeping well. Today I have for you a die set for Cyber Week, and this die set is called the Retro Robot. So this is an A4 die set and this will create this absolutely adorable robot. Isn't that absolutely adorable? I've made one in blue. I was going to do a pink one, but I've decided I'm not going to, and I'm going to go for JCB colours, which is yellow, black and a bit of white, because I really wanted to make a yellow one, and my thoughts behind it was Bumblebee from Transformers. Anyhow, we are going to put one of these together today. This die set, there is a lot of repetitive cutting for this particular project, and I don't want to confuse you by showing you each piece and explaining what each piece is. It's just easier for me to go through it as I go through the stages of making this robot. I think that's probably the easiest way to do this. So this is an A4 die set. Like I said, it makes a retro robot, and we are going to put one of these together today. So for this, what I'm going to do, I think, is do the arm first, and we're just going to go through each stage so that we can try and you know, you can make notes, you can craft along with me as I'm making it, but I'm going to be giving you how many pieces of each item that you need as I'm doing each stage. Otherwise it's going to sound very overwhelming and I don't want to confuse you. So we are going to put one of these arms together. There is, as you can see, there's a lot of mechanisms, and this is definitely a Tobi design, because of how the mechanism works. So we're going to do that first. So for the arm then, per arm you need 2 of these pieces, and then you need to cut out, in the die set you've got these long strip dies that has a score line down the middle. So you will need, per arm, you need 1 of each size. You will then need your decorative element, which I have cut out in black mirror card, black gloss mirror card. The card I'm using, this is a 300 GSM textured card. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick up the texture, but it's like a weave texture on one side. Well, it's textured on both sides. And the reason why I'm using 300 GSM is because I want my project to be sturdy. So then for the arm, you will need 2 of these pieces. You will also need 2 of these pieces, because we're going to create one of these with that. And we will need 2 of these pieces. Now if you're using thicker card, you can get away with using 2 of these pieces, but if you're using lighter weight card, you may need to build and see how many of these that you're going to need. But again, you know, you will decide based on the GSM that you're using. And then you will also need, again, dependent on what GSM you're using, you will need to cut out per arm. I've cut out 6 pieces, and we're going to be joining 3 of these together for one end, and I've already glued 3 together for the other end. But again, this will all make sense once we go through it. So I don't want to confuse you because there is a lot of things on my desk. So I'm just going to move everything to one side, and we're just going to concentrate on these pieces here. So for this then, let me just bring in some of my tools. So for this then, let's make the cube first. So just make sure you give everything a really good burnish. I'm going to go ahead and fold all these tabs. So once you've folded all your tabs, what you need to do, I'll be using my Nouveau Deluxe. Just put the lid on there. What you're going to go ahead and do is apply glue to this large square tab here. And you're going to attach two of those pieces together like that. And then you're going to go ahead and apply glue to this tab again here. And then you're going to bring this in and you're going to close that off there, like so. Just make sure your glue grabs and you are patient with this make, because this is a substantial make, and you need to just obviously allow your glue time to stick and dry, because you need to have nice crisp lines and finishes on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to these tabs here. And then I'm going to bring in one of these squares, place that over the top, like so. I would definitely say for this project, perhaps cut everything one day and construct the next day. This is like a weekend project, I would say. Definitely not. Well, personally, I don't think you're going to be able to cut everything and get this made in a couple of hours, because there's a lot of cutting involved in this. I'm just going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing on this side. Okay, and while I'm here as well, what I'm going to do is bring in, let's just bring in these pieces here, because there are like decoration pieces and things, and I'm trying to, let's do 1, 2, 3, there we go. What I'm going to do is glue all this down now, before I need to glue all the arms and legs and everything together. So applying glue, and then we're just going to stick that on top like so. So that's my left arm, that will be my right. Okay, so, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply these black strips onto the top portion of this box and to both sides, and leave the bottom plain. Okay, once that is glued, just put that to one side, let those pieces dry. You're going to bring in these two pieces now, and you're just going to go ahead and fold all these score lines, and every single one of these is a mountain fold. So just go ahead and do that to all those score lines there. So once you've glued, once you've folded all those score lines, go ahead and apply glue to these tiny square tabs on both sides. And you're just going to fold it in on itself, like so, and just hold it while the glue grabs. Do the same on this side. So go ahead and do the same for this piece as well. So once you've done that, what you need to go ahead and do is apply glue to one of these triangular tabs here and attach this to the bottom of this piece. So you're just going to go ahead and attach that like so. This is such a clever design. Tobi is just, I mean, you know, the guy is a genius. We know that anyway. But to come up with the way he's designed this, I mean, it does, you know, leave your mind a little boggled, not gonna lie, because when I first put this together, I was like, how on earth does his brain think of all of these things? But he is, yeah, amazing designer. So apply glue to these tabs here, apply glue to these tabs here. Make sure you take the glue to those corners because you want everything to glue down really well on the corners. And then press all that in on itself and you'll see everything falls into place nicely, like so. Don't worry about any gaps in between because that's all going to get covered up in a second. Okay, so you're then going to bring in these two pieces. The shorter piece, just fold them down the middle. Oh, that one's on the outside, right. Fold that one and then apply glue. I'm filming this in the evening. Nights are starting to draw in, but I'm hoping I get enough daylight to be able to get this completed. The time is 11 minutes past 6 in the evening. Okay, that's one side glued. Let's do the other side. So I'm going to apply glue. And we're going to glue that down like so. Just neatens everything up and basically just gives everything a nice crisp finish. So that's the arm. At this point, we just need to make sure we put the decoration piece on the right side, because I'm going to put that on now to save myself the trouble. So I'm going to place that over the top like so. And then press that down. There we go. So it basically needs to be opposites, obviously, because of how we're doing this. And then what you need to do is bring in your box that you put together earlier. You're going to apply glue to this piece here. And you're going to attach that. Try and centralize it on there. Bubbles. She's seen some pigeons in the garden, so she's making some noise. So we're going to attach that. So let me leave that for a second. I've also got these hands. Again, I've cut those out, so you will need to cut out 4 in total, 2 for each arm. And we are going to apply glue. I'm going to stick 2 of these pieces together. Like so. Don't want any white showing through. It's black mirror card. There we go. Right, I'm just going to let that just dry for a second. Now, for the arm, the mechanism that we have here, so if it's facing this way, that will face that way. So the mechanism itself, they're going to need to face the opposite way to each other. So for this piece, you need 2 of these. Glue 2 of these pieces together. Now on one side you'll have a neat side, and then on the other side you will have the negative side, but you need to make sure the glue goes right to the edge of every single piece of this piece, and then you're going to join 2 of those pieces together. And you're going to make sure that there are no bits where it's going to poke through or it's not glued down very well. So let that dry for a second. Give that a good press. There we go. Now, this is where you need those washers. So as I mentioned, you need 3 for each side. So I'm going to take 3 of these and I am going to glue them together. Okay, so now that I've glued that together, what I need to do is apply glue to the first 3, and we're going to stick that in the middle of this piece here. I'm going to stick that there like that. And then we're going to take the other 3 and we are going to stick that onto this side here. Again, centralizing it. Like so. Now I am going to leave that to dry for a second because we need to let that dry and become solid. And what I've just realized now is I haven't cut out some washers, larger washers, so bear with. Okay, so I've just quickly cut 4 of these larger circles out, and what I'm going to do is apply glue and stick 2 of these back to back this one. Okay, so again, I'm just going to let those two pieces dry. Now, we are going to put the foot together and the leg. Now, as you saw me make the square on the arm, you need to make another 4 like that for the legs. Now, I've already put one leg together, and we're going to basically put the other one together. So all you need to do for that is glue 2 of these cubes together, like so. Just going to let the glue do its thing there for a second. While that is sticking together, you will need 2 of these pieces per leg. So what you need to go ahead and do is fold those score lines. Once you've done that, apply glue to one of these tabs. And you are going to glue 2 of those pieces together. Like so. What I'm going to do as well is, while this is still flat, I'm going to take my decorative elements. So I'll cut these again out in black. You'll see the piece within the leg piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue 4 of these on to my panels. That's the wrong piece. Just don't do that one. Ah, dear me. Right, we're going to do that again. I can't find the other piece for now, but when I do find it, I will glue that piece on. So what you now need to do is go ahead and apply glue to this long tab here. And you are going to glue that down. So you should have something like this. Go ahead and apply glue to one side of those triangular tabs, like so. Wipe away any excess glue. And you're basically going to stick that on one side of that cube. There. Bring in, obviously, just make sure both of them are where they need to be. I'm just going to hold that for a second. I actually don't know what I've done with that piece. Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay, just going to apply glue to this piece. Okay, so the decorative elements for this then is, I'm going to be gluing both my leg pieces together because I think it will add a bit of strength for the box that it's going to be carrying, or the the box part of it. So I think gluing them together is a good idea. But I have cut obviously strips out, and then I've got these two pieces as well, which I'm going to glue to the front and the back. Okay, so when I've glued those two pieces together, what you'll see is the pattern runs parallel. And I've just got one last piece, which is the black square. I like to decorate as I go along rather than leave it at the end, because I like to see what everything looks like and if I'm missing anything, or if I need to add any extra bits to it or what have you. Okay, so that's both our feet done. I'm going to move this out of the way, and then I'm going to bring my arm piece back in. Now, what we need to do with this piece is we're going to apply glue to this circle here, like so, and we are going to make sure we glue this right in the middle there. It will be exactly the same, but it needs to be facing the opposite way, if that makes sense. So make sure you glue that down and just wait for the glue to grab on that, because you'll see there is a slight gap just there, because that's where the mechanism is going to come in and do its part in terms of making the arms move up and down. So we're going to let that dry. I'm allowing lots of drying time for this. Now, the next part is slightly tricky in the sense that we need to attach the neck and the top of the box together. So you need, again, another 2 of these pieces, and what you're going to do is fold at all the score lines. Okay, so for the head you need 2 of these pieces. Now this is a solid piece, but you're going to use the square that you use for the cube, that square, you're going to place that in the middle of one of these panels. And then what you're going to do is attach these pieces, 2 of these pieces together, like so. And what we're going to basically be doing is placing this on the inside. So this is going to be the bottom of the head. So I am going to go ahead and just gently curve. There are some indentation marks along here. You're just going to go ahead and apply a gentle curve to that bit to just make life easier, really. And then what you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to apply glue to these tabs here. Let me do that now. and we are going to place these tabs It might be a bit of a tight squeeze because obviously you're trying to fit this piece in. Bear with. We're going to do this because I did this already once. Okay, there we go. So what you're going to do is go ahead and apply glue, apply pressure and stick all those tabs down. So press all that down. Use your precision tool if you need to, and then just give that a nice press down like so. And then go in, apply glue to that tab and press that down like so. And then what we need to go ahead and do, just make sure that's stuck down well. Bear with me. There we go. And then what you're going to do is, we have these two pieces that we need for the top of the box. Now, again, you have to, there is on these pieces, when you die cut them, you do get that indentation mark. I don't know if you can see that. Yes, you can see that. You're going to see that indentation mark. You put the square on top and cut a square into just one piece. You don't need to do both pieces like the instruction says. Just cut it into one piece. And what you're going to go ahead and do on the piece that you've cut that aperture into, just make sure you score everything really well. Burnish everything really well. Honestly, it's evening brain kicking in right now. Okay. So what you're going to do is the side with all those tabs here. Just want to make sure everything is stuck down well. You're going to basically push all those tabs through that aperture. Like so. And you're going to go ahead and apply glue to all those tabs. And then oh, I've done that wrong because it needs to face that way. So just make sure you're pointing it in the right way. There we go. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Right, now what you need to do is just go in and give everything a really good press. Okay, now that we've done that, what we need to go ahead and do is attach So for each part of the head, you need 2 of these pieces. Now this one was quite straightforward to do. That's going to be the top of the head. And this one, I mean, obviously it's got a lot of pieces added to it, so it might be a little bit more fiddly, but you're just going to go ahead and fold all those score lines. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to apply glue to these tabs here. I'm going to try and see if I can get it done in one swoop. I'm just getting a bit worried because it's starting to get really dark. So I may need to, at some point, turn the light on. But the only problem with turning the light on is we're going to get a bit of a halo. But and we might get some shadows. But we'll see how we get on. Okay. So I'm just going to wait for that to grab, because we need that to have a good grab on it. And then we're just going to basically work our way round the corners. And if you want to use pegs, by all means do. If that helps you, then, you know, by all means do. I'm not personally using pegs. Just going to wait for that to grab. And then just work your way around the rest of that. Like I said, there are some bits that are fiddly, but this is a project that isn't going to get done within minutes. It's going to take time. And I think sometimes, you know, we forget about the beauty of crafting. We need to remember it's therapeutic, it's great fun, and good things take time. So just be patient with your glue as you go round. There we go. That's one side done. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the other side now. Okay, so we have just put the headpiece together. Again, like I said, please take your time. Obviously I'm filming, so I'm trying to do this as quick as possible, but do take your time to do that. I'm just going to sort out some lighting and I will be back. Okay, obviously it's starting to get really dark. I've only been able to put one of my daylight lights on for the time being, so I can actually see what I'm doing. So I am going to try and hopefully try and get through this as quickly as I can before it gets any darker. So I'm just going to add my decorative elements on to the face part. So I've used the debossed dies for this bit. I'm just going to stick those pieces on. side. Okay, so I've put my decorative elements on. Now for the base of the head, you do need to cut out 2 of these, and you also need to cut out 2 of these. And all you're going to do is apply glue. You just need to apply a thin line of glue to each of these panels, and you're going to go ahead and stick that on the inside like so. It's just so that the lid can fit on, and it's got something to kind of grab onto, if you like. So you're just going to go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, so you're going to have something that looks like this. Now at this point you need to decide which one's going to be your front and which one's going to be your back, but allow time for those pieces to glue together. Yeah, I think I'm going to just allow it time to glue. But you're then going to take the second piece, go ahead and burnish those score lines. Okay, you're then going to flip this around, and we're going to basically glue that together. So for this piece, I am going to go ahead and apply glue to this piece here. Apply glue to those tabs there. So it's going to basically cover up our workings. So just remember to flip this piece around like so. I'm just going to press all that down. Like so. Okay, now at this point, if I was you, I would bring in my decorative elements for this part. So I have 2 of these pieces here, which will basically cover up around the neck area, and I have the front and the back of the chest. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces down. Okay, I'm quite happy with that now. Now all I need to do is apply glue to the tabs and basically glue all my pieces together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So once you've done that, you have these pieces here. Now these are just to tidy up your workings, and we're going to put that on at the end. Okay, so there is a mechanism that needs to go onto the side of these pieces. And those mechanisms are these pieces here. So you have to cut out, and this is where those indentation marks came in, where I overlapped the dies. So you need to cut out, I've cut out 4 of these pieces, and I've basically glued 4 of these together. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now, which is to glue 4 of these pieces together. And again, you have to make sure when you are applying glue to these pieces that every single one of these pieces glues down really well, really well. There can't be any gaps. We don't want any overlapping, fraying. Well, it's going to overlap, but we don't want anything to fray or come apart, have any loose pieces or anything like that. So just go ahead and stack 4 of these pieces together. So once you've overlapped all 4 pieces together, you're going to have basically 2 of those. So you're going to have 4 pieces for each one. Okay, so let that dry for a second. While that's drying, I'm going to bring these 2 pieces back in, and hopefully now the glue's dried and that's going to come together nicely. Now I'm going to decide, I think I'm going to have this as the front. This is going to be my front, the face portion, I think. No, it's not. It's going to be this side. This is going to be my front. Okay, so this is going to be my front. Here we go. So what I need to do is decorate some of the elements on this, because I do need to add a few bits and pieces. So I'm going to go for white circles for the eyes. Yeah, that's the plan. I'm going to go for white circles for the eyes. I'm going to go for a yellow mouth. I'm going to have white teeth. White teeth. So let's start gluing some of these bits and pieces together. So I've kept the inner circles, and the reason why I've kept those is because it's going to make life easier for me to be able to put my half-back beads on, because that's what I'm going to be using, half-back beads. So I'm putting the circles back in on my eyes on these, and I'm going to basically wait for that to dry and grab. While it's doing that, let's glue the mouthpiece on. Right, let's just make sure that, there we go. That is starting to take shape now, isn't it? And then what we also have is, that head is a bit, it's moved a little bit. There we go. That's better. So what we are going to have is, you have to cut out, in total, the way I'm doing this one, you have to cut this piece out 6 times. You're going to glue 2 of these pieces together like this to create this piece here. Now what I've done with this piece is I've put a half-back bead on, because I don't want the white showing on the back, you see. And then I've taken some of the cogs in the kit, in the die set, and I've just layered this on top. And what I'm going to do with this piece is attach that to there, like so, like that. And then on the head piece, the top of the head, I'm going to attach one of these like that. So let's do that first. I'm gonna go ahead for this top piece. I'm using 2 of these pieces. So just folding where that score line is. There we go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue to one of these side pieces. And then we're going to join 2 of these pieces together. It looks like a joystick. There we go. So let's just wait for the glue to grab on there. While I'm waiting for the glue to grab, what I'm going to go ahead and do at this point is apply glue to one of these pieces here. And I'm going to attach the half back bead onto there, because that's going to need time to dry, you see. So it's best to stick those on now. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. My shadows are not going to cause too many problems. I can't believe the evenings are starting to draw in now, and we're getting to the point where it's going to be doing videos in the evening with bright lights. So right, I need to let that do its thing. So what I'm going to do is apply glue to this piece here. Like so. I'm going to attach it onto the square. Like so. And I'm just going to let that do its thing, you know, let the half back beads dry well on there. Now for the eyes, again, we need to allow our half back beads to dry. So I'm putting glue on the center of these circles there. I'm going to bring in my eyes and we are going to just attach those like so. They're not the exact same yellow, but I like the glossy yellow to this. So I'm just gonna centralize that. That's not central there. And we are just gonna let those also dry. Okay, we're just going to let that dry for a second. We're not going to worry about that now. So the way the mechanism is going to work, so hopefully I'm going to be able to show you on here. Just move everything out of the way. So the way Tobi has designed it, you've got this mechanism. So basically, if you can just imagine this piece here, when the arm is up, it's open, but when the arm is down, it's basically going to just close off like this. Hopefully that's made sense. So to open it, you're going to put the arms up. To close it, it's going to basically go through there and close like that. That's why it's so important that all these pieces here are glued thoroughly and you allow these pieces time to dry well. So what you need to do is attach these pieces onto here so that that mechanism will then work. So apply glue. And again, like I said, just make sure you get glue on all those pieces there. And then you're just going to place this over the top here. Make sure that doesn't go below that semicircle. And then just make sure you press all this down. And again, you need to give it time to dry. So we're just going to attach that. So remember, one is going to face this way, but the other one is going to face that way. So just to go over it again, so as you can see, the hook comes over like this on here. It's going to come over like this, and on this one it's going to come over like that, because that's how the mechanism is. So when we add the base piece on, you'll see that the mechanism, it will basically turn like this. Hopefully that's making sense to you. And again, I know the lighting isn't great today, so again, I really do apologize. Okay, so you need to have 2 of these pieces cut out as well. So what this is going to do is it's going to go over the top, covering up your workings. So again, what you're going to do is go ahead and apply glue to this piece here. And then you're just going to place this piece over the top like that. And then just make sure you press everything down like so. Okay, so these are the pieces that you need to do your corners. So you need 4 of these. Fold them. I'm not going to use I'm not going to burnish these with my score tool, but just do it with your hand, because I'm using mirror card. I don't really want to cause any like scrapes or damage to it, you see. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply glue. I'll do one and then I'll speed the rest up. But you're basically covering up your workings by pressing those pieces down. What you will find though is, I'm using mirror card, it's going to take forever for the glue to grab. So I am going to hold this and I'm going to speed up the rest of it. So as you've seen me do, you're basically just overlapping those 2 corner pieces together and just holding everything in place. It's just all going to glue nicely together. And yeah. Okay, so hopefully you've got all your corners on. Again, I've done everything I can to try and give all my corners a bit of time to all glue down. Hopefully they all have. So starting to take shape, which is really good. So I'm going to bring, I think what I'm going to do is, again, these pieces also need time to glue. So I am going to apply glue here. And we are going to attach that onto there. Allow this to just grab and do its thing. While it's doing that, I am going to go ahead and attach this over the top. I'm going to apply glue to the base of this square here. And then I'm going to stick that on, eyeball in the middle. Hopefully that's correct. So we're just eyeballing that in the middle, in between the two eyes. That will do. And then we're just going to stick that down. So again, I'm going to allow it to do its thing. Hopefully that's doing its thing. That one's doing its thing. They're doing their thing. Okay. Now, oh, right. The other piece. Let's just tidy away some of these pieces, and then it's going to just be finalizing all the pieces. So the hands, I'm just gluing that onto the tip of the arm. Okay, so we're just going to let that glue dry on there. So we've got both our arms. Now all we need to do, let's just move the arms out of the way. So now all that's left to do is the base of the box. Now, for the base of the box, you see these score lines here. Those score lines are just showing you where you need to add the curves. So I'm not doing too much folding there or curving there, just a slight curve on there. And again, like we did with the headpiece, we're gonna burnish those score lines. Once you've done that, what you need to go ahead and do is attach these panels. So apply glue to these tabs here. I'm just going to do one at a time first so I can show you what I mean. So you're just going to apply glue and just stick those panels down. Take your time, don't rush this process, because you've worked so hard to get to where you are. I don't want it to get ruined at this point. I'm just pressing all the tabs down from the inside there. And see how you find it. You might find it easier to glue one side first and then do the other side, or you might find it easier to do like glue both panels on and then do the other side. So you decide what's easier, but I'm going to do both panels at the same time. So I find it easier to do it this way. So you're just going to go ahead and do exactly the same thing on this side. Just make sure your hole is facing up. So go ahead and do exactly the same thing on this side. I'm going to have something that looks like this. Now this, before we stick the arms on, I'm just going to show you, this will go over this piece here. Like so. So as you can see, like that. That's glued on right. That's kind of glued on all right. Okay. So what we need to do now is I'm going to apply my decorative elements here. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go ahead and cut a strip that I should have done before, which I didn't. I'm just going to go ahead and cut a strip that I need. So let's do that quickly now. No, you think when you're putting something like this together, you think you've cut everything out, and you haven't, because there's just so many elements to this particular make. But you know what? It's definitely worth it. Okay, so this is the joining piece here. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm applying glue. You can put it on the inside as well if you want to, but for the time being, I am just going to put it on the outside, because the inside I can sort out later anyway, so that's not a problem. So let's just stick that onto there. So. This is going to be my front. There we go. Okay, that's going to be my front. So now what I need to go ahead and do is attach my arms. So it's not complicated, so please don't stress. So all you're doing is, remember those two washers, those two larger pieces that we glued together. You're basically going to feed the arm. So if this was facing us, this is facing us, your arms will go like this, okay, like this. So what you're going to do is apply glue to this piece here. Right, like that. feed that through that hole, like so. And then you're just going to stick one of these over the top, like that. Just make sure you hold everything in place. Let the glue grab, do its thing. As you can see, it is doing its thing. And you're just going to go ahead and do that on both sides. While it's doing its thing, I'm going to hold that there. I'm going to go ahead and attach the legs. So I'm applying glue. And I'm going to stick those two together like so. It's probably best to put it on a flat surface. It's just easier. And you're going to hold those two together like so. Just let the glue grab and do its thing. While it's doing its thing, I'm going to bring in this piece here. Am I going to bring in this piece? Let's have a look. No, we're not. We're going to attach it to this piece. So, yeah, okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to attach the key piece, the mechanism that's, you wind it up, your wind up key. So you're going to attach two of these pieces back to back. Let the glue grab. I'm going to take one of these pieces here. I've cut another one of these circles out. I'm going to feed it through the hole there. And then I'm going to apply glue here and here, and then in between those. Oh, it's not going to work the way I wanted it to work. Why does everything have to always end up being messy, hey? Why? Okay, let's just feed that back through. And we are going to stick that onto here. So we're just going to let the glue do its thing on there. Like so. Let the glue grab. Right, just making sure the legs are going to be facing the right way. So I'm just going to go ahead and place the legs on. Again, you need to have a balance for the legs. So I'm going to apply glue to these triangle tabs here. And again, obviously, you will need to wait for this to do its thing. And then what we're going to do is just centralize it slightly, just off center, I would say. And then press that down. I'm going to wait for this to glue and then I will be back. Okay, so I've given it time to dry. So hopefully it's done what it needs to do. All the arms move as they should. So now what I need to do is slip this over the top. So let me just do one side at a time. There we go. Slot this down like so. Push that down. There we go. And then hopefully that will, it takes a couple of tries to get it all in place. That's locked. And then we need to do the same with this side. So let me just get that in position and get that locked. So those are both locked in. I can't show you, as I showed you previously, how they lock in. So when the arms are down, that's when it's locked in. And then we're just going to put the head over the top, like so. And that is our robot complete. Isn't he adorable? Oh my gosh, it is so cute. I think what I'm going to do is, there is a sentiment in this die set. I think I'm going to cut it out and I'm just going to stick this on the front of here, just to add just a bit of, I don't know, fun to it. So you do, if you don't have to put this piece on, by the way. You don't have to put this piece on. You can put the money, the coin slot in. So the top piece becomes a money box. And then the bottom is the gift piece. So let me just show you how this opens. So you basically lift the arm up on both sides. And that lifts open like that, and then you've got your box on the inside. You've got plenty of space. Oh, my head's just fallen off. You've got plenty of space on the inside there for a nice little gift. And then to put this back on, you just put it over the top. Just make sure the arms are up. It's just easier that way. Slot that in like so. And then just lock the arm in place, one on that side and then one on that side. Put your head on, and there you have your robot. So I can only apologize again, as usual. This has become a very, very long video. Now his head looks so plain, doesn't it? And obviously you've got this piece here as well, acting as that wind up piece. So that's the Verso panel, by the way, and this is obviously the deboss panel. So those are my two robots. I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody that's been supporting me recently. I really appreciate everybody that uses our links. We all work extremely hard putting content together. Obviously we are trying to grow as a I know I am trying to grow as a channel, so I can continue bringing you content. So I really do appreciate it when you do use my affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra whatsoever, but it does provide me a small commission. So I hope you're enjoying Cyber Week, cyber, and all that's left for me to say is please do like and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell to receive notifications of future videos, and leave a comment, because I love reading your comments. I really appreciate when you do take the time to leave a comment. I love that interaction that we can have as well. And it just shows that you are there. I'm not just filming all these videos, that they do mean something, and obviously it's helping you. So thank you again so much. Please do enjoy the rest of Cyber Week. I will be bringing content where I can, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.